Red Dead Redemption, once confined to consoles, has finally broken out. In December 2025, the original 2010 game and its Undead Nightmare expansion officially launched on modern platforms, running natively on iOS and Android for the first time. Delivered primarily through Netflix Games, this release removed the need for dedicated hardware or traditional game purchases. It has extended the life of a classic, putting a full Rockstar open world into millions of pockets, and marks a major shift in how big-budget games can be distributed, played, and monetized on mobile devices. Red Dead Redemption and its Undead Nightmare expansion are now officially available on mobile. The release includes the full 2010 campaign and Undead Nightmare, updated with the same enhancements seen on current-gen systems. Xbox Series XXS and PS5 support 4K, HDR, and up to 60 FPS, while the mobile edition features redesigned controls and a UI optimized for touchscreens. On mobile, Red Dead Redemption is available through Netflix Games. Players with a Netflix subscription can open the app, head to the Games section, and download it at no extra cost with no ads or in-app purchases. This marks the first time Red Dead Redemption has been playable natively on mobile devices, after years of being limited to consoles and newer home platforms. Since the mobile release, many players have pointed out that Red Dead Redemption on Netflix Games is strictly single player. There's no Red Dead Online included, and the official version requires an active internet connection with no offline mode available. Players are also discussing compatibility issues on social forums, reporting that the game doesn't show up or install on some devices even with a Netflix subscription. But even with these limitations, one of the most iconic open world games of all time is now playable on a commute, in bed, or anywhere, with a decent connection, giving longtime fans and newcomers alike a whole new way to experience John Marston's journey. To really understand why this matters for Rockstar, you have to remember what Red Dead Redemption represents for them. This is the game that launched in 2010 on PS3 and Xbox 360, set during the decline of the American frontier in 1911, with players stepping into the boots of John Marston, trying to hunt down his old gang to save his family. It's the title that turned the Red Dead name into a serious franchise and paved the way for Red Dead Redemption 2. For many fans, it ranks alongside GTA as Rockstar's most iconic work. Rockstar has never been shy about re-releasing its classics. We've seen the GTA trilogy remasters, older GTAs on mobile, and now a remastered RDR on modern consoles and Netflix Games for mobile. A move that marks a new subscription-based strategy for one of their biggest franchises. Advantages: for Rockstar, firstly, it massively extends the lifespan of a 15-year-old game. Instead of only reaching people with a PS5, Xbox, or Switch 2, Rockstar now has a direct pipeline into millions of Netflix subscribers who may never own a console. Secondly, it lets Rockstar explore a business model they don't control directly. On console and PC, players buy a copy, but on Netflix Mobile, the game is part of the subscription while Rockstar gets paid behind the scenes. If this approach performs well, it provides Rockstar with real-world data to guide future negotiations for other games, subscription deals, and potentially even day-one releases. And lastly, it reflects how Rockstar is rethinking its back catalog. If Red Dead Redemption can be polished, relaunched on console, and offered on mobile via subscription simultaneously, the same could happen with LA Noire, Bully, or older GTAs. More than a port, a test case for the future. Major shift for gamers worldwide for years. For years, Red Dead Redemption was this legendary game people talked about, but you needed proper hardware to access it. At minimum, a last-gen console, and more recently, a modern system for the remaster. If you lived in a region where consoles are expensive, heavily taxed, or hard to find, the Wild West masterpiece was effectively out of reach. The mobile release changes all that. The full single-player story and Undead Nightmare expansion are now available on Android phones, iPhones, and iPads, with touchscreen support and performance settings optimized customized for different devices. For gamers worldwide, especially where a decent phone is far more accessible than a $500 console plus $70 games, this marks a major shift, and the fact that it's delivered through Netflix is a big quality of life boost. No ads, no energy timers, no in-app purchases to unlock content. You pay your subscription, download the game, and start playing. For many players tired of mobile monetization tactics, this feels like a completely new, If Red Dead Redemption performs well on Netflix games, it could open the door for more Rockstar titles on subscription platforms. Netflix already added the GTA trilogy to its library, and now Red Dead joins the lineup. Strong engagement numbers would make it easier to imagine deals for LA Noire, Bully, or smaller spin-offs that might not justify a full $70 boxed release. It also provides Rockstar with valuable data on how players interact with large open-world games on mobile, session lengths, controller use, and which devices face performance issues. This insight could quietly shape how Rockstar approaches future releases. We might see a pattern where a major game launches on consoles and PC, and a few years later receives a premium or subscription-based mobile edition. Further down the line, Rockstar could create companion apps or smaller spin-offs aimed at players who first experienced their games on Netflix mobile, rather than consoles. Launching Red Dead Redemption on mobile alongside the PS5, Xbox Series, Switch 2, and current-gen remasters keeps the franchise in the spotlight. With GTA 6 hype ongoing, it reminds everyone that Red Dead is alive on every major platform, helping Rockstar maintain two massive IPs at the same time. Now onto the big question, can your phone actually run this game? Well, it depends on the type of device you're using and the specs you have, whether you have an Android or an iPhone. For Android, you'll want a fairly recent device. The game is built with modern hardware in mind, so it requires Android 11 or newer to even install. In terms of memory, 6 GB of RAM is the minimum, but 8 GB is recommended for smoother performance and fewer slowdowns during busy scenes or long play sessions. Processor is just as important. You should be using at least a Snapdragon 7 series or 8 series chip or something equivalent like a Dimensity 9000 or better. These chipsets provide the graphical power needed to handle a large open world, higher quality textures, and stable frame rates. For the best experience, the ideal target is a flagship chip such as Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, Gen 2, or newer, which will give you more consistent performance and better visuals, especially at higher settings. On iOS, the baseline is an iPhone 11. That's the minimum device that can run the game at an acceptable level. However, for a more stable experience with better frame rates and fewer drops, a newer iPhone is recommended. Anything from the iPhone 12, 13, 14, or 15 series will handle the game much more comfortably thanks to stronger CPUs and GPUs. Finally, make sure you have enough storage. You'll need 8 to 15 gigabytes free for the game, updates, and saves. Clearing space beforehand will save headaches when downloading. And hey, now that the game is live, if this breakdown helped, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.